It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by AgileDad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. I'm sure you've heard it. What is my Scrum Master doing all day? I think I have an idea. Agile's not working. I'm going to fire all the Scrum Masters, right? And it's going to make everything better. I'm telling you, this is a thing, and it's been a thing for a long time. It seems like an ongoing theme, right? And I think when I confront leadership and I ask them, do you really think that's a good idea to fire all the scrum? What brought that on? And the answer that I get is quite shocking. So let me tell you what I hear. People tell me, well, I have no way to figure out what a scrum master is doing all day. They're not showing me 8 hours of productivity. So I asked them to create a report in a Jira that shows that they're helping teams and it's just an increase in story points. And oh my goodness. It's just one of these things where just because something is intangible. Now, I said, I want to make sure I date this back in 2003, many, many moons ago. 70%, 70% of what a Scrum Master does is completely intangible, and there's no report you can run to figure it out. Okay, I'm going to say it again. 70% of what a Scrum Master does is intangible, and there's no report as leadership that we can run to figure it out. When you have a broken Agile framework, a broken Agile process, what winds up happening is we start blaming it on people. And who's the fault person for this? Obviously, it's the Scrum Master. So what does a Scrum Master really do? Well, if we break it down, it might include things like coaching or mentoring or collaborating or maximizing a team's potential, giving them a focus on continual improvement, helping a team mature, facilitating the removal of impediments. These are all powerful things that a Scrum Master does, but there's no report you can run to validate, verify, or make sure that the Scrum Master is effective in doing their jobs. Scrum Masters are governors of teams. They can govern one, two, or up to three teams based on their skill set and based on how much experience they have, based on what things that they know how to do, based on tips and tricks, based on the training or certifications they've received. They govern teams. Scrum Masters are not aligned with product owners. Scrum Masters are not aligned with projects. Scrum Masters align with and govern teams to help them be successful. If you follow this alignment and you understand this principle, then I can give you a breakdown of the top 5 things Scrum Masters do every day. And hopefully this will help you better understand why the Scrum Master role is so critical, why it should never be coupled with anything else, why it's a full-time role, and why it's so important that we have people doing this work. Now, what I can tell you is I don't care if you call them Scrum Master, Scrum Jedi, Scrum Manager, Scrum Lord. I don't care what you call this person, as long as you understand what they do. So I'm going to break this down for you. I'm going to give you the top 5 things a Scrum Master does that takes them 8 hours a day. So that way you'll know where the value is coming from. And that way you can explain this. If you are a Scrum Master, if you're a leader, you'll have a better understanding. So here we go. Let's start at the top with number 1. The Scrum Master is a true team coach and mentor. This means that they are helping with team dynamics, helping teams resolve interpersonal issues, social issues, environmental issues. They coach the team members in self-management and how to become self-organized and how to foster cross-functionality amongst themselves. They encourage an atmosphere or an environment where everyone feels they're empowered to contribute their best work, and they're working in an area of psychological safety where they're not being judged on every single thing they do. And they help the team by mentoring them to understand what they're doing, whether it's Scrum or extreme programming or Kanban or lean or safe or stable. It doesn't matter what they're doing. This person's responsibility is to help them understand what they're doing and why we're doing it and how it's being applied. They need to understand why agility is important. Why are we doing Agile to begin with? This is, once again, step 1 of the 12-step program. Here we are again, right? It's just these things are in place to help the teams. These people are in place to help the teams understand why they're doing what they're doing, how they can be most effective, and how they can add value. So whether you're doing product development, technical or non-technical, project development, it doesn't matter what you're doing. They need to help these teams adapt the way they work so that they can successfully build products and services. And they do that as a coach or a mentor. Unfortunately, there's no report you can run that's going to show you how many hours per day someone spent doing that, or if they did it for 40 hours a week. It's a matter of trusting the individual in this position to do the best they can to foster this type of environment. All right, let's move on to number 2. A Scrum Master promotes great facilitation. Did you notice I didn't say that they were a great facilitator? I said they promote great facilitation. Meaning, if you came to any of my classes before, you hear me say this and people are shocked, mind blown, when I tell them that the product owner is the greater facilitator. Product owners facilitate conversations with stakeholders, with the business, with teams, with leadership. They focus on customers. They do all these things. A product owner is definitely going to have way more conversations than a Scrum Master does. But when you think of a Scrum Master facilitating, we often think of the ceremonies. So whether you're talking about sprint planning or the daily Scrum or the review, the demo, the retro, backlog refinement, what you're seeing is that the Scrum Master is going to make sure that all of these different meetings, all these different ceremonies, that they're productive, that they're kept on time, that we have the right participants in the meetings, that we are getting useful inputs and outputs from these meetings, and that we're focused on what our current objectives are, and that we can have participation from everyone involved. This is where we can start talking about diversity, equity, inclusiveness. This is where we can make sure everyone has an equal voice. And we're focused on and encouraging participation from everyone so that everyone's voice is heard and they feel valued and they feel like they're an active part of a team trying to build amazing things. And it's important for the Scrum Master to be able to help them get to that point. And once again, something you can't report on. While the Scrum Master is accountable for good facilitation being practiced at the team level, the team needs to also learn how to improve and practice their best facilitation skills on a daily basis. So if you think about it, the Scrum Master is promoting greater facilitation so that the product owner has the tools they need to be successful, and the team can learn how to become more mature in working with one another and in working with other teams. So the product owner is the greater facilitator, but the Scrum Master is the hub of making sure the communication happens. I hope that helps with that. All right, let's go to number 3. The Scrum Master also helps facilitate impediment removal. Did you notice I didn't say that the Scrum Master removes all the impediments? The Scrum Master facilitates impediment removal, meaning that a significant part of their time is used identifying and managing or governing how impediments are going to be removed or obstacles. So with that being said, sometimes it's empowering a team and providing them with the tools that they need to successfully remove an impediment. Other times it means that the Scrum Master needs to take that impediment and run with it. I don't care which side of the fence you're on. It's important that the team understands that, okay, they are going to be responsible for not creating or having the same impediment over and over again. I refer to this as enablement versus empowerment. Scrum Masters empower teams to remove the impediments that they can remove themselves and doesn't enable them to keep making the same mistake over and over. That form of enablement that I'm talking about, that is something in Lean that we refer to as the hidden factory. If the Scrum Master just goes in and removes all the impediments and the team continues to make the same mistake over and over again, it just becomes unsightly, costly, and immature. If the Scrum Master provides the team with the tools they need to remove those impediments, and the Scrum Master is active in helping them understand how to use those tools, but the Scrum Master is also ready and willing to chase down anything that the team can't tackle themselves, that is when you're going to have an empowered team and a great Scrum Master that can focus on anything, whether it's technical roadblocks or roadblocks in general or team conflict or external dependencies. This person needs to be there promptly and efficiently to tackle these issues. And sometimes that includes involving a team or teaching and mentoring them in practices that prevent future similar problems from feeding a hidden factory. We don't want things to reoccur. And they need to spend time outside of the team working on product or organizational wide challenges so that they can tackle those issues for the team so it doesn't impact the team's ability to produce high quality work. Okay, let's go at number 4. Number 4 has to do with transparency and trust. So the Scrum Master helps the team focus on what they should be working on. They do this by promoting the importance of a product vision and the goals and encourage the right level of transparency at the product backlog level so the team can be successful. So in order to do this, the Scrum Master winds up spending a fair amount of time helping the product owner understand what the team needs to be effective and focus on what's most important that the team can do. They also interact with stakeholders directly and company leadership and help communicate the team's progress and needs. This helps foster an environment or culture of transparency and trust. And when you can get that transparency and trust in place, that's when you're going to have the big win. That's when you're going to have the success. All right, let's go to the last one. Number 5. They drive a focus on continual improvement. Notice I said continual, not continuous. Just in case you didn't know the difference, continuous is ever flowing. It means you're constantly grinding. Continual means that you're working on something and then you take a breath, you breathe, and then you work on something and you take a breath and breathe. So you're continually moving in the right direction, but it's not always at the same pace. So you're encouraging time for reflection, time for adaptation, time to have a greater understanding. You're promoting a culture of feedback and learning. If the Scrum Master can really help the team enhance their processes, their tools, their relationships, they can help them aim for increased efficiency and effectiveness in their work. They can help them understand what their goals are and how to achieve them. And a Scrum Master is the person responsible for making certain that team dynamics are as the best they could possibly be. Now, here's the problem. While a Scrum Master is helping a team understand how they can be creative and where they should be creative and when they should take risk, and that risk taking is encouraged, and failure isn't always bad. Failure is a first attempt in learning. And although we never wish for it, it's always a learning opportunity, not a setback. You should be promoting business agility and Scrum values within the team and within a greater organization. But the problem is, as I just now mentioned, none of these things, none, zilch, nada, nine, none of these things, they have a written report or report in JIRA that you can run to get information on these. It becomes everyone's responsibility to understand what a powerful Scrum Master does and why you can't live without them, and to provide the Scrum Master with the time needed to be able to do all these things. Because I'm telling you right now, the Scrum Master may not be the most obvious choice for hardest working, but the Scrum Master oftentimes is the hardest working, most productive member of your Agile organization. That's going to do it, and I hope this empowered you and gave you the information you needed. If you have a question you want us to cover, learn more at AgileDad.com. We'd love to hear from you. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.